Morning guys, how's it going? Long time no see. My ultra training's been going really well, right up until the point where the wheels fell off. So I need to catch you up on what's been happening. If you've been watching my training since the early part of the plan, you'll have noticed that it's been going really well since the start of January, when I kicked off with week 2 of the plan. I've had 3 solid months of training, not missed any runs, been doing all the strength training, followed the plan. It's been gradually building up the mileage, adding more intense sessions, and it was going really well up to the end of March. I've said once or twice during this series that this training plan I'm following, although it is aimed at your first 50k, it may not be entirely suitable for someone of my age and running experience. 2 days ago marked the 3-year runniversary since I did the first Couch to 5k run in 2020, April 13th. So I've got 3 years running experience, which isn't a great amount, and also I'm approaching my 48th birthday, which is next month, just before the race. So I expected to struggle with some parts of the plan, especially as the mileage built up and the accumulated fatigue later on, which is where we are now. After the successful training week that you saw in my last video, I began the following week's work with a strength session and the first 2 or 3 runs. But what I was finding is when I started each run, the bottom part of my calves, I'm going to call it the soleus, getting tight almost straight away and getting sore, and as the run went on it was affecting my running. I was having to run with a different style. That was having knock-on effects, making my knees sore, stuff like that. So I tried just recovering from each run, foam rolling, resting, blah blah. But each time it was just getting progressively worse. So it reached the point where I thought, don't just keep doing this until it turns into an injury. Do something about it. I knew that I might not be able to complete the plan to the letter for the entire amount of the plan, but I knew I'd done well up to now. My fitness was in a good place, so I could afford to get this fixed and then move on from there. So at that point I decided that maybe a sports massage would sort it out. I didn't have an injury as such, just extremely tight lower legs. So a good massage, maybe that would do the trick. Never had one before, didn't know anyone who did them nearby. So I titled one of my Strava runs asking people locally if they knew a good place to go. Got some great responses from the helpful guys in the area. Gaz, Martin and Jamie. Ben from next door, my new neighbour, is also doing the Spire Ultra, as is Gaz, who I know from Strava, so that's going to be awesome. And Paul, who I've known for many years, he recommended a lady called Charlotte, and there was a link to the website that Charlotte then posted up, so I went on there, booked myself in, and took a few days off running leading up to that. Didn't want DOMs while I was having a massage, and I didn't want to make the potential injury any worse. And off I went for my first ever sports massage. So when I got to Charlotte's place for the massage on a Tuesday evening, went in, there was the massage table in the centre of the room. She had Radio 2 playing in the background. I always listen to Radio 2 in the car, so that was an instant relaxant. Felt at home, and then we had a bit of a chat about what was going on with my legs, what I thought I needed, and she came up with the idea of just giving my legs in their entirety a going over, just see what she can find that needs sorting out and just try and free everything up. I was expecting some of the massage to be a bit painful, you know, you see people having knots worked out and yelping. I thought there was going to be some of that going on throughout, really, but thankfully the first part of it was relatively gentle. I got my calves thoroughly worked over, and then my hamstrings and quads. Some suction cups were used at points, so that was an interesting experience, but it wasn't really until we got to my glutes that there was any kind of yelping going on. I was lying on my front and she'd leaned her elbow into my left, what she later called the piriformis, and she found some spots there that when she leaned on them, my leg was basically vibrating, wriggling all over the place. It was quite sore, but not bad enough to make me want to tell her to stop, until she kind of bent my leg up while she was doing the same thing and kind of introduced some movement laterally. At that point my hamstring started to feel like it was going to cramp, so we paused at that point, but she definitely found something that needed sorting out. Charlotte suggested giving it at least 24 hours before I went for another run, and not to suddenly think that I'm invincible just because I've had a sports massage. So good advice. I didn't go for a run for 2, maybe 3 days after that, and then I just went for a nice little test run, about 3 kilometers around the roads, just to see how things were. And they were feeling much better, where my entire lower calf would pretty much lock up and get sore early on before the massage. There were 1 or 2 little floating pains that came and went along the way and eased off later. Other than that, it was all good. All in all, I had about a week and a half where the only runs I did was that little 3k test run, and then I took my daughter to Queen's Park in Chesterfield so she could have a go with her new inline skates, I think they call them, or roller blades, I always wanted to call them. I decided to get back into the plan on week 16, which is a deload week. Every 4th week is a deload, so I thought that's a good place to get back into it, ease into it gradually. So I've done all the week 16 runs this week, a couple of 5Ks and a 6, a couple of strength sessions, got the DOMs after having some time off, so that was exciting. And then today I've just got the 10k easy run on the Saturday, and that's the deload week done. And then I'll attempt to get back on with week 17. The race is 4 weeks today, so there are 2 weeks of the endurance phase to fit in, and then 2 weeks of calming it down, tapering towards race day. I'm also starting to get paranoid now that there may be a kit that I haven't sorted out or tried out properly. So I need to sit down and make sure I've got everything I need, and on my 2 remaining proper long runs try going out with all the kit, get myself set up with all the same kind of plasters, lubrication, fueling that I'll be intending to use on race day, and just make sure it all goes to plan. I wonder what's in this bottle. Looks delightful. Okay, so I'm 5k into this 10k easy run. Really enjoying it. It's perfect temperature, about 6 degrees I think at the moment. No rain, always a bonus. And yeah, that should be it for this week. I can tackle that proper week of training next week, being wary that I don't overdo it, and hopefully I catch you at the end of that having got through it. See you then.